when we did our last post-duopoly show on Monday with our friends at RBN and Hardlands Media, we talked a lot about RFK's Israel comments recently, and part of what made those comments as noteworthy as they were in an especially important context is the fact that they happened just as the Democrats were having this sort of skirmish where one of their members, God forbid, stepped a bit out of line. I'm talking about Pramila Jayapal at a Netroots Nation conference when the event was disrupted by some protesters waving the Palestinian flag. Let's take a look at how she responded to that, just to set this up a little bit.
I'll just leave. Maybe I should just walk off.
Guys.
Notice how pissed off whoever that lady is. I don't know who she was, but when the protesters started walking, maybe I'll just leave. Yeah. Just get out of here. This is a progressive group, everybody. Well, watch it.
I'll just leave. Maybe I should just walk off.
Guys, can I say something? Can I say something as somebody that's been in the streets and has participated in a lot of demonstrations? I want you to know that we have been fighting to make it clear that Israel is a racist state, that the Palestinian people deserve self-determination and autonomy, that the dream of a two-state solution is slipping away from us, that it does not even feel possible. It does not even feel possible. And I want you to know that while you may have arguments with whether or not some of us on stage are fighting hard enough, I do want you to know that there is an organized opposition on the other side, and it isn't the people that are on this stage.
Okay, first of all, it's not just on the quote-unquote other side. A lot of it is on your supposed side as well.
Yeah, what the fuck is she talking about? If anything, the Republicans are more rabidly pro-Israel than the Democrats, because you need Israel for Jesus to come back.
Right.
Otherwise, Jesus just keeps smoking a J in heaven.
Well, no, but that's what she's talking about. There's an organized effort on the other side. That's what I took it as the Republicans are rabidly pro-Israel, whereas the Democrats are a divided house. That's what I think she was getting at there.
Right.
Okay, so then after she stepped out of line with that statement, the Joint House Democratic leadership issued a statement on the relationship between the United States and Israel. This was signed by, of course, party leader Hakeem Jeffries, rabid Zionist, Democratic whip Catherine Clark, Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar, and Vice Chair Ted Lieu released the following statement. Israel is not a racist state. As a Jewish and democratic nation, right, Israel was founded 75 years ago on the principle of complete equality of social and political rights for all of its citizens, irrespective of religion, race, or sex, as codified in its Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Netanyahu is on record saying multiple times, Israel is not the home to all of its people. It is the home to the Jewish people. That is it. That is his statement. John Kerry, during the Obama years, said, as Secretary of State, Israel can either be a Jewish state or a democratic state. It cannot be both. That's John Kerry, hardly a radical. Of course. I mean, this is the most obvious fucking thing in the world. It's the most obvious thing in the world.
How could you possibly have a Jewish state in a majority Arab region and have a legitimate democracy?
Right, exactly.
That would be impossible.
No, of course. I'll skip to the end. We're not going to pain ourselves reading this entire thing. Our commitment to a safe and secure Israel as an invaluable partner, ally, and beacon of democracy in the Middle East is ironclad. We look forward to welcoming Israeli President Isaac Herzog to the United States House of Representatives this week. Okay, so they brought her to heel. They got her in line. But the Republicans in the House smelled blood in the water, and so what do? Opportunists that they are, and you can't fault them for this. They're twisting the knife, right? That's what you're really, that's what you're there to do, right? When you sense weakness on the other side, you have to exploit it. They called a vote on the to basically reaffirm that Israel is not a racist state. So this is from the New York Times. House votes resoundingly to back Israel, rebuking Democratic critics. Republicans rushed to schedule a vote on the measure after a leading progressive Democrat, Jayapal, who we just showed, condemned Israel as racist ahead of an address to Congress by the country's president. We're not going to read this whole thing, obviously, but we will read this, just a few paragraphs here. So the House on Tuesday overwhelmingly passed a resolution pledging unfailing support for Israel, condemning anti-Semitism, and declaring that the country is neither racist nor an apartheid state, in an implicit rebuke of Democrats who have criticized the nation ahead of an address by its president to a joint session of Congress. What that paragraph leaves out is that very, very few Democrats have criticized the nation of Israel. Republican members raced to put the resolution on the floor this week after Representative Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat of Washington and the head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, called Israel a racist state, as we just played, prompting condemnations from leaders of both parties. Ms. Jayapal later walked back her comments, saying that she had not meant to condemn the idea of Israel, but only the policies of its current government. But the GOP pushed ahead with the vote anyway in a move Democrats denounced as politically opportunistic, even as most lined up to support it. When we mean most, we mean almost all. 10 Democrats declined to back the resolution, which passed by a vote of 412 to 9. With one voting present, and here's the cherry on top. Ms. Jayapal supported it. So Ms. Jayapal ended up voting yes on the resolution to affirm unfailing and unconditional support to Israel, which is not an apartheid state. So Jayapal, who started this whole thing, here.
I want you to know that while you may have arguments with whether or not some of us on stage are fighting hard enough.
While you may have arguments with whether some of us on stage are fighting hard enough.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
After making that statement, you got cucked by party leadership, and then you voted yes on the Republicans' resolution to affirm support for the state of Israel. The squad all voted no on it. It was Ilhan Omar. Yeah, no, they all did. They were some of the 9. Omar said she's voting no because this was introduced by MAGA Republicans, right? Which is a bit of a cop-out because what that erases is the fact that almost all of the Democratic Party voted yes as well. But Jayapal didn't even have it in her to do that. She just total surrender. And that's what those activists were pissed off about there, was the fact that at the end of the day, 19 out of 20 Democrats will bend the knee. And most of the ones who don't only don't because they can afford not to, right? Because the support is overwhelming. Anyway.
Please clap.